Hello students, I welcome you all to Arinjay Academy. So today in this video we will be discussing the 10th chapter of class 6 CBSE Science, chapter 10, Motion and Measurement of Distances. So unlike us, long ago people did not have any means of transport. They used to move only on foot and carry goods either on their back or using animals. Invention of the wheel made a great change in modes of transport. Later came automobiles, motorized boats and ships were used as means of transport on water. But have you ever wondered that how did people know how far they have traveled? Or how will you know whether you can walk all the way to your school or whether you will need to take a bus or a rickshaw to reach your school? When you need to purchase something, is it possible for you to walk to the market? How will you know the answers to these questions? So when it comes to motion, one also needs to understand the importance of measuring the distances that has to be traveled. In this particular video, we will be discussing the NCERT questions and solutions for this chapter. So let's proceed. So question 1, give two examples each of modes of transport used on land, water and air. So we know that जो modes of transport है वो generally can be through land, can be through water and can be through air. So for each of these mode you need to write two examples. Alright, so let's see the answer. So modes of transport, the first one that is used on land. So जो land में हम modes use करते हैं for transport, यहाँ पे what we can write railways, alright, and we can write cars. You may have other answers like rickshaws, trucks, buses, and can be any other as well. The second is used on water. So generally we see boats, ships, submarines, right? So these can be the examples for the modes of transport on water. The third is used in air. So in air it can be airplanes, helicopters, zeppelins, and can be other as well. So here we are done with the first question, the three modes and two examples for the each. Let's move to the next question. So here comes question 2, fill in the blanks. So here we have been provided with some statements. Each statement contain one blank. So हमें हर एक statement को carefully examine करना है and then we have to try to fill them up appropriately. So let's see all the statement one by one. The first one says 1 meter is dash centimeter. So हमें पता है that in 1 meter there are 100 centimeter. So this is easy to answer, right? You know this conversion. The second one is 5 kilometer is how many meter? So again, you know one conversion that in 1 kilometer there are 1000 meter. So in that case, if you have 5 kilometer, it will have 5000 meter. All right. The third statement, motion of a child on a swing is. So what is the kind of motion when a child is on a swing? So we know that such motion repeats itself after some time and we name them as periodic motion. Fine. The next statement is motion of the needle of a sewing machine is. So again this is a periodic motion. Can you answer why? Because a needle which is attached to the sewing machine, it moves up and down forming a stitch. So such a motion again repeats itself after some time and that kind of motion is termed as periodic. Alright. The final statement, the last one, says that the motion of wheel of a bicycle is. So you know that a wheel rotates about a fixed point, that is about the center of the wheel, and such a motion is called circular motion. So here we have done all the 5 statements. Let's move to the next question. Before discussing question 3, I would request all the students who are watching us to please visit our website arinjayacademy.com. You can download NCERT solutions for all your classes and for all the subjects. So coming back to question 3, it asks that why can a pace or a footstep not be used as a standard unit of length? So हम क्यों footstep और या we can also call it as pace. So why we cannot declare footstep as a standard unit of length across the world? So why there is a problem in accepting footstep as a standard unit? Let's see the answer. So all the organisms have different body lengths and structures. We know that every organism differ with each other in terms of body length as well as structure, and so does the length of a footstep. A pace or a footstep cannot be used as a standard unit of length because it changes from people to people. So this is now very important. They are saying that हम अपने footsteps को standard unit of length की तरह use इसलिए नहीं कर सकते because it changes, it varies from person to person. So for example, let's consider that from your home, your school takes you 100 footsteps. Alright, so in that case, you cannot say that to your friend that the school is 100 footsteps far, because your friend might take less or more number of steps to cover the same distance to the school. So therefore, this particular unit, the footstep or the pace, cannot be standardized locally. So if we cannot do that on a local level, so we cannot even think on a worldwide level. So therefore, this cannot be accepted universally, and hence it is not a standard unit of length. Here comes question 4. Arrange the following length in their increasing magnitude. So हमारे पास यहाँ पे 4 types of length है, 1 meter, 1 centimeter, 1 kilometer and 1 millimeter. So what we need to do, हमें इन्हें इनके increasing magnitude के order में arrange करना है. So let's see. Length in their increasing magnitude here are that 1 millimeter is the smallest, and सबसे बड़े magnitude में we have 1 kilometer. So 1 millimeter से बड़ा है 1 centimeter. Greater than this we have 1 meter, and the greatest is 1 kilometer. Now we need to understand that how we came up with this order. So for this I would call Mr. Length. So let's call Mr. Length. Okay, he came with a table to us. This table firstly tells us that the SI unit of length is a meter. So the standard unit of length, हमें पता है that standard unit of length क्या है? It's meter. So हम सारे different lengths को convert करेंगे, and we will see that how we can arrange them based on their magnitude. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter. So we can say that 1 kilometer is the largest because meter contains more number of centimeters, and each centimeter contains much more number of millimeters. So in that case 1 kilometer is the biggest length. So here we have 1 kilometer. Now the second thing is meter. So after kilometer, the meter is the larger one because 1 meter contains some number of centimeters, and each centimeters further contains some number of millimeter. So here comes 1 meter. Now after 1 meter, the just smaller length would be centimeter. Alright, so here comes 1 centimeter, and with the same idea we can say that the smallest in that case would be millimeter. So 1 millimeter is the smallest among all the 4 length. So this is the increasing magnitude, as you can observe. So let's move to the next question. Question 5. The height of a person is 1.65 meter. Express it into centimeter and millimeter. So here एक person है जिसका height है 1.65 meter. अब हमें इस height को convert करना है. We need to express it किसमें? In centimeter and in millimeter. So let's see. So for understanding these conversions, again we will take help of Mr. Length. So let us call it Mr. Length. So he came up again with the same table. Here we have all the conversions which we will be using to solve this question. So we know that 1 meter has 100 centimeter. So we write here that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. Why we are taking this second point? Because here we need to convert from meter to other units. So therefore we have taken the second point. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. So the height of the person here is 1.65 meter. So if the height of the person is 1.65 meter, in centimeter we need to multiply it by 100. That is 1.65 into 100. This is also called the unitary method or the method of cross multiplication. Okay, you can also observe that अगर 1 मीटर में 100 सेंटीमीटर है तो 1.65 मीटर में कितने सेंटीमीटर होंगे? It will be equal to 1.65 times 100. Alright, so this will be equal to 165 centimeter. So we have done the first part of the question, that is to express it in centimeter. Now the second thing is to convert it into millimeter. So to convert something into millimeter, we will take the help from centimeter. So here we express that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter. Alright, so अगर 1 सेंटीमीटर में 10 millimeter है, so in 165 centimeter, that is the height of the person, so in these many centimeter, how many millimeter will you have? So again you apply cross multiplication, that is 165 times 10, so this is equal to 1650 millimeter. So you have expressed the height of the person 1.65 meter into centimeter, that is 165 centimeter, and into millimeter, that is 1650 millimeter. So we are done with the question 5. Let's move to the next one. Here we have question 6. The distance between Radha's home and her school is 3250 meter. Express this distance into kilometers. So there's a girl named Radha and she measured the distance between her school and to her home to be equal to 3250 meters. So what we need to do? We need to express this distance into kilometer. So for this you should be knowing the conversion that 1 kilometer contains 1000 meters, right? You know this. So you will apply the unitary method or the cross multiplication method. So if you have 3250 meter here, let's say you have it here, so you will multiply it by 1 and divide by 1000. So you will be getting 3250 upon 1000, which is now expressed in kilometers. Now you know that if you have 3 zeros in the denominator, you will take the decimal point from the rightmost side to the left side. So that is the second jump and the third jump, placing the decimal point after 3. So here we get that 3.25 kilometers. So this is equivalent to this 3250 in meters. Alright, so we have expressed it. So let's move to the next question. Question 7. While measuring the length of a knitting needle, the reading of the scale at one end is 3.0 centimeter and at the other end is 33.1 centimeter. What is the length of the needle? So हमें दिया हुआ है क्वेश्चन में that हम एक knitting needle का लेंथ मेजर कर रहे हैं एंड हमने इस नीडल को एक स्केल के अलोंग प्लेस किया हुआ है. सो हमने स्केल के दो रीडिंग्स लिए हैं. विच आर दोज टू रीडिंग्स? One reading is at the one end of the knitting needle and the other is at the other end of the knitting needle. So the first reading is 3.0 centimeter at one end, and at the other end we have 33.1 centimeter. So by this information you need to calculate the length of the needle. So this is what we have been given, the readings at the two end. Let's see it visually. We have a scale, we have kept a knitting needle along it. We measured that this particular point marks the scale at 33.1 centimeter and the other end marks the scale at 3.0 centimeter. So if you want to find out the length of this knitting needle, you need to subtract this distance from this distance. So that would be equal to the reading at one end, that is reading of the scale from this point to this point, minus the reading at the other end, that is from this point, from 0 to this end. So if you subtract this, you will be getting the length of the knitting needle, that is this much, which would be equal to 33.1 centimeter minus 3.0 centimeter, which would be equal to 30.1 centimeter. So this is the length of the knitting needle. We are done with the question 7. Let's move to the next one. So question 8, write the similarities and differences between the motion of a bicycle and a ceiling fan that has been switched on. So हमारे पास दो particular objects है, bicycle and a ceiling fan. We have observed the motion of both these objects. So हमें इनके motions के बीच में similarities and dissimilarities बताने हैं. So let's see the answer. The motion of both a bicycle and a switched on ceiling fan is a circular motion. We know that bicycle में जो wheels है वो भी move, they are also rotating about the center, so they have a circular motion. And also we had seen that ceiling fan also rotates definitely, so ceiling fan में भी circular motion होता है. Now this is the similarity. Now what is the difference? So they differ because bicycle also makes a rectilinear motion, whereas a fan remains fixed to one point. This is very important. जो bicycle है वो भी circular motion possess करता है, but along with that it is also moving in a linear motion, or we call it as a rectilinear motion. So we see the wheels rotating about the center, but we also see the bicycle moving linearly in a particular fashion. So that's why we observe a rectilinear motion in bicycle. However, when it comes to the ceiling fan, we know that ceiling fan में सिर्फ circular motion possible है, because the center of the ceiling fan is attached to the ceiling, or the so that's why it is fixed to one point. The fan cannot move from the point where it has been fixed, so it cannot show rectilinear motion like that of a bicycle. So the similarity is that they both have circular motion, and the difference is that the bicycle has a rectilinear motion as well, whereas the fan remains fixed to one point. Coming to question 9, why would you not like to use a measuring tape made of an elastic material like rubber to measure distance? What would be some of the problems you would meet in telling someone about a distance you measured with such a tape? So यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन में हमें पूछा है that हम जनरली एक इलास्टिक मटेरियल सच एज रबर को यूज़ क्यों नहीं करते टू क्रिएट और टू मेक अ मेजरिंग टेप एंड देन टू मेजर डिस्टेंस. सो कौन से ऐसे प्रॉब्लम होंगे जो हम फेस करेंगे अगर हमने जो डिस्टेंस है दैट वी हैव मेजर्ड विद द टेप, अगर हम इस डिस्टेंस को या इस मेजरमेंट को अगर हम किसी सेकेंड पर्सन को बताए, सो व्हाट वुड बी सम प्रॉब्लम्स दैट वी विल फेस in case we have used such a tape. So an elastic material like rubber has a property to change its length when stretched. So अगर हमने rubber को use किया है, so we know that rubber is an elastic material and elastic material has a property to change its length जब हम उन्हें stretch करते हैं. So this can seriously can leads to complications while measuring the distances. Using such a material will lead to inconsistent measurements and measurements will not be accurate. अगर हमने किसी इलास्टिक मटेरियल का या ऐसे कोई मटेरियल का यूज़ किया विच इज़ लाइक रबर, सो इन दैट केस वी विल गेट इनकंसिस्टेंट measurements will not be correct, or this will really harm our further calculations as well. If we measure from a rubber when it is stretched to know the real length, we need to precisely know how much it was stretched, which is not always possible. Now for example, let's say अगर आपको एक रियल लेंथ किसी पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्ट का रियल लेंथ मेजर करना है एंड फॉर दैट यू हैव यूज्ड अ स्ट्रेच्ड रबर. ऑलराइट, आपने एक स्ट्रेच्ड रबर को यूज करके एक लेंथ मेजर किया एंड फर्दर यू हैव हैंडेड दैट रबर टू योर फ्रेंड. So your friend will measure the unstretched rubber length. Alright, understand the point that when you have handed the rubber to your friend, so he will be measuring the length of the unstretched rubber. ऐसा rubber जो कि stretched नहीं है, and in that case that would not be the real length that you have measured by the stretched rubber. So this certainly will not be correct, and also it is not possible to know that how much you have stretched the rubber while measuring. So therefore we cannot use a tape which is made out of elastic material like rubber. Last question, question 10. Give two examples of periodic motion. So हमें यहाँ पे दो examples देने हैं किसके? Of periodic motion. Periodic motion are the one in which the motion repeats itself after some time. So the motion that repeats itself after a fixed interval is called periodic motion. So for such a motion we have two examples here. The oscillation of a pendulum. जो एक pendulum है, we know a pendulum is simply a bob hanging from a length of wire, and if we keep or if we let this bob to oscillate freely, we know that it will repeat its motion to and fro. So such motion is repetitive and it happens after every fixed interval. So in that case, oscillation of a pendulum is an example of periodic motion. The second example is of rotation of earth on its axis. So we know that हमारा जो earth है वो rotate करता है about an axis which passes through the poles from north pole to the south pole. So we know that it takes earth 24 hours to complete one rotation, right? So rotation of earth क्या है? It is again repeating its motion after every fixed interval, that is 24 hours. So rotation of earth on its axis भी एक periodic motion है. So do remember that these two are some very great examples of such kind of motion. So thank you students for being with us all throughout this lesson. You can subscribe to Arinjay Academy on YouTube for more such videos. आप हमारे साइट को विजिट कर सकते हैं arinjayacademy.com. वहाँ आपको और भी डिटेल्स मिलेंगे. You can also download NCERT questions and solutions that can help you to ace your exams. Keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.